But we've got Dane Brugler, who ranked his favorite draft classes. Dane Brugler of The Athletic, the beast, the man, the myth, the legend. Now, Eric, there were a few teams that really crushed this year's draft. Shocker, in the top 3, the Baltimore freaking Ravens.
Yeah, listen, Baltimore did its thing. They absolutely did. They got two beasts where, okay, Kyle Hamilton, you know that Baltimore, he's going to end up being a stud for them. He's going to be incredible. And then Tyler Linderbaum as well. He's a plug-and-play day one starter at center. And then they come back in round 2, and they just take, hey, you know what? We had 2 first-round picks, guys that are plug-and-play starters. Let's go ahead and take a flyer out on a guy who could end up being one of the better talents in this draft coming off the injury, David Ojabo, the edge rusher out of Michigan. That's a first-round talent that they say, hey, we already had 2 first-round picks. If we swing and miss on Ojabo, it ain't the end of the world. But risk-reward here, if Ojabo comes back healthy and we'll redshirt him his freshman year, or his rookie year, then, hey, we might have got ourselves a first-round talent. I mean, they could come away with this thing with 3 first-round talents between Hamilton, Linderbaum, and then Ojabo, depending on how he recovers from the Achilles.
Well, and then they got Travis Jones, the defensive tackle from UConn, and I thought he was the next best defensive tackle behind Jordan Davis in the draft.
Yeah.
And they take him in the 3rd round.
And they take 2 of my favorite tight ends in the draft as well, and Charlie Kohler, Iowa State, and Isaiah Likely, Coastal Carolina.
I was a little bit frustrated that the Cowboys went with Ferguson over Likely, but I guess there were some people that felt that Likely was just a seam threat. He was kind of a one-trick pony.
Dude, that's what I want.
But to me,
I want a freaking guy who's athletic, who stretches the field and is a matchup kind of nightmare.
I mean, this was a coach-him-up draft. You're telling me there's not a lot to work with Isaiah Likely? And I like Ferguson, I think, more than a lot of people do. I think Ferguson's going to be a pretty good player. But I had to take an Isaiah Likely if given the opportunity.
Yeah. The other thing, and I know Brugler's got him as his second-best team, and to me, they might have been number 1. What Kansas City was able to do.
Oh, my goodness.
Man, they tore this thing up. This is exactly what the Chiefs needed, a draft like this, where you get a starter, Trent McDuffie, corner out of Washington in the 1st round. George Karlaftis just falls right into your lap at 30, some of the best first-round value out there. So those are your 2 first-round picks. Then they go in the 2nd round. They land Sky Moore, the little slot wide receiver.
Pound for pound, maybe the best wide receiver in the draft.
Dude, a guy who, especially when you're thinking about where he ended up, it's like Kyle Hamilton goes to Baltimore, you know he's going to be outstanding. Sky Moore goes to Kansas City with Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes.
Any of us be surprised
going to be amazing.
At the end of this year, he's the most productive rookie receiver?
No.
I
will not be surprised at all. Not be surprised at all. That was a great selection by them. Then I thought Brian Cook, decent little safety there from Cincinnati.
Sure.
Guy who brings some physicality there. And then the one that I really liked, though, was in the 5th round, Darian Kennard.
Big boy.
The Kentucky lineman who does a little tackle, does a little guard. Man, that guy right there, that to me is a steal. And, I mean, I just think he's a bully kind of player. And that was a great pick. So I think Kansas City absolutely crushed this draft as well. Two AFC powerhouses, Kansas City and Baltimore, doing it big. And then there was plenty of other teams who did well. I mean, what was his number 1 team? It's the Jets. The Jets got
it's hard. I mean, you look at what the Jets did in the 1st round with 3 picks in round 1. They had 2, but they moved back up into round 1. They get Sauce Gardner, stud. They get Garrett Wilson. They remain patient. They let Garrett Wilson come to them. He's going to be good. And then they move back in and get Jermaine Johnson, the 2nd out of Florida State, who ended up sliding at the bottom of round 1. That's a haul. And then you also get Breece Hall, the running back out of Iowa State, who might be the best back in the draft.
Did they have to trade up to get him?
I don't think they did. I think they took him with their where they were in the top of the 2nd round.
Okay.
And then Jeremy Ruckert, who a lot of people liked out of Ohio State.
A lot of people think he's the best tight end in the draft.
Sure.
So, I mean those are all starters. Those are all plug-and-play day 1 starters. And then Michael Clemens, the edge out of A&M. I mean, what a value they got him there at pick 117. I think that dude, I mean, talk about a guy, 265 pounds, 35-inch arms.
Surprised the Cowboys didn't love that guy with those arms.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I think Michael Clemens is a guy that could end up being a really nice edge player for him as well. So the Jets, the Chiefs, the Ravens, they all crushed. And then, I mean, I hate to say it, but Philadelphia did a couple of things. I think Houston did some good things.
I love the Eagles draft.
You did love the Eagles draft?
Oh, they had a great draft. And I hate them so much, but they had a great draft. To get Jordan Davis and then trade for A.J. Brown. They've got the two best receivers in the division now in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You know, now that Amari's gone, they now have the mantle for the best two receivers in the division.
Yeah.
So there you go. Jordan Davis alone. We know that. Cam Jurgens is going to be a stud. Go Big Red, the Husker. He's going to end up replacing Kelsey there as their starting center of the future. But to get Nakobe Dean, who slid because I guess maybe he needs to have a pec surgery. Oh, well. Let him have the surgery. You know what Nakobe Dean's going to end up being for them? Like the next Jeremiah Bleepin' Trotter.
Oh, gosh.
He's going to be a stud. And then they take our guy Kyron Johnson out of Kansas, who's just going to be a heat-seeking missile. He'll probably be a special team star, and then they'll sprinkle dinkle him in on defense, and he'll end up just making plays for him. And they take Grant Calcaterra, the tight end from SMU.
Yeah, right out of our bleeping backyard.
Might end up being a sneaky pick there in the 6th round. I hope they all stink, but right now, I think they nailed the draft.
Yeah, dude. Kyron Johnson, we saw him here in the studio. The dude's a beast. His
hard
pro
guy
day,
not to fall in love with, man.
Athletic freak show. But Nakobe Dean, I mean,
that might be the steal of the draft.
Assuming he's got, so multiple teams told Dane Brugler that they dinged him for a minor knee and pectoral issue. So I don't think either one of those seem like big-time long-term problems. Assuming he's healthy, that is the steal of the draft.
Like if it's not a long-term issue, why would you pass on that guy?
Yeah. I mean,
why are teams so short-sighted?
And Nakobe Dean says he's healthy, he's ready to go. Camp starts next week, and he expects to be a full participant. That's from the mouth of Nakobe Dean. So he doesn't come across as a guy who's overly banged up.
Seattle, ironically, had a good draft. Normally, you think of Seattle, and it's like, oh my gosh, what the hell were they doing?
Man, I remember my dad talking about those Legion of Boom days.
How young are you?
Seattle.
But Charles Cross, my dude, at 9. Boye Mafe, who is an underrated edge rusher out of Minnesota. Now, I don't know why they took Kenneth Walker III, the running back out of Michigan State, when they've already got a ton of running backs, but they love taking running backs.
Pete Carroll wants to, if it was up to Pete Carroll, quarterbacks wouldn't even exist in the NFL. He wants to run the ball every single play.
But I love the double dip on the corners. Kobe Bryant, the corner out of Cincy, who we talked about earlier, who you made reference to, the dad telling him about the Legion of Boom days. And then Woolen, the corner out of UTSA, two big, long, fast corners. And that's exactly what they love. Did you know for the second year in a row, Lenore Ryan got a player drafted?
Was it safety last year?
It was Kyle Duggar last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, safety/linebacker. This year it was Derek Young, the wide receiver. And Lenore Ryan gets a player drafted. The University of Texas is not.
Yeah, how sad is that? Where does Brugler have the Cowboys draft class?
That's a good question. Let's keep scrolling. It's not in the top 10.
Obviously. Because basically everywhere I've looked, I think you're looking at between like 24 and 30 of where people rank the Cowboys draft class. There hasn't been a ton of people that love it.
16.
Okay, that's actually better than I was anticipating.
He's got favorite pick, Jalen Tolbert.
That seems to be a common theme.
Tolbert fell almost a full round later than where I had him ranked and goes to a Cowboys offense where he can make an immediate impact. Though he doesn't have elite breakaway speed, he has terrific tracking and adjustment skills to be a playmaker, not too dissimilar from Michael Gallup, another third rounder for the Cowboys a few years back. Day 3 pick who could surprise, John Ridgeway, the nose tackle from Arkansas. After 4 years at the FCS level, Ridgeway transferred to the SEC for the 2021 season and played at a high level versus the run. A former high school champion wrestler, he is burly, long, and strong with the base power to stand up double teams and be a dependable early down player, exactly what the Cowboys needed on their defensive line.
Yeah, that's a guy that I hope really pans out because that's the perfect place to land that position. Dude, where it's like, dude, you hit
Ridgeway
a home
might be
run.
the one pick they nailed.
Yeah, he's a guy and he's got a great personality. He plays with that nastiness inside. It's the nose tackle, one technique, just eat up double teams, keep the linebackers clean. That's what this Cowboys defense needs plenty of. And so I'm hopeful that he can be that guy.
Yep. Same here. There it is. Dane Brugler ranking some of his favorite drafts and the Cowboys there at 16.